Right, apparently live. So, hi, good morning, comic book fans. Welcome back to Comics in 5 Minutes. I'm your ever-loving host, Shorty. So I've been live for a little longer than I thought I had. You may just be staring blankly in space, messing with my hair there. Who knows? What we're doing today, though, is we're going to review Shang-Chi, which is just unfortunately one of the few things that's out today, this week. And I don't mean unfortunately like, oh my god, I can't believe after, I'm sorry, squeaky boots, after reviewing something terrible I don't like. It's whenever I read anything that involves kung fu in a comic book, I'm always kind of reminded of the limitations of the medium. And it's not to say it can't be done well, but because you're dealing with an interconnected series of still images, it's hard to get across the kind of action and thrill you get in kung fu movies and TV shows. Don't get me wrong, you can do amazing bits of action within a comic book. I'm thinking back to like Hitch's seminal work on Authority, huge widescreen space battles that like had so much action in them, even though it was like just one splash page still image. And you can do stuff with panel layouts to really show movement. Something is Killing the Children, issue 1, a very frenetic couple of pages because of how they designed the page layouts over the panel layouts over 2 pages. Undone by Blood had overrunning panels with characters moving from them in ways that didn't seem to make sense until your brain clicked in and told you how to follow it, and it gave a sense of motion which was incredible. But when I read the Kirkman's Firepower, that one didn't really do it for me because it fell into the trap of just putting together a series of still images in a row and thinking that would be enough. Disappointingly, Shang-Chi does the same thing. Most of the time, you actually don't get fight scenes in this. You get like very quick, simple things happen to indicate that there's been emotion, but that's about it. But then they do this, and that doesn't give me a sense of motion really at all, even though there's motion lines all over the place. There's an awful lot of onomatopoeia going on in there, but it does just feel like a bunch of pictures taken of a fight rather than an actual fight. And unfortunately, when you're doing a Hong Kong-style action-adventure story, not having that sense of action and urgency is always going to count against it, unfortunately. What's also kind of sad is, when I opened up the comic book, first page, first thing came to mind was, this is not the Marlin House style. Take a look at that. That is very cool. Look at the detailing on the faces there, the colouring they use. There's a little bit later on where you actually get to see Fing Fang Foom looking absolutely brilliant. But then, Shang-Chi looking all kinds of badass, even like with cross-hatching in there, which I'm not a big fan of. It still works really effectively. But then you get to the modern day stuff after a particularly nice Chadwick Boseman memorial, and it falls back into slightly more contemporary Marvel in-house style. It's still certainly better than I'd expect. There's still a willingness to do a little bit more damn than normal, which is nice. The colours are great. And the writing is actually pretty good. The writing is actually the stronger part of this, I'd say, because it touches on a lot of issues rather than just the story they're telling. Don't know, the story is pretty cool. It involves like an ancient dynasty of warriors and how the people in charge of them have gone from trying to do good to try to control, and the various people in charge taking different matters into their own hands and doing drug dealing and protection rackets and all of that kind of terrible stuff, but also just the daily survival of Asian Americans. There's a rather wonderful bit when somebody refers to the way Shang-Chi talks as being like from a fortune cookie. It's like, you've been around Western people so long, why do you still talk like that? And I'm trying to remember the exact line here, but it's along the lines of, if I talk like I'm mystical and use highfalutin words, white people look at me when I'm talking to them rather than through me. And it's like, yeah, okay, that's something that kind of probably needs to be said a little bit more, the way people look down on that kind of thing. And it's nice that they take the chance to do this. It's worth pointing out. When you take a look at the creative team down there, you're probably going to have some people who know what they're talking about. But the actual plot itself is still in there, and it's still interesting enough. That it is a dynastic kind of thing of who's going to be in charge and how they're going to take things, and you get to meet some various members of the family of the 5-weapon tribe or something like that, and it's all very, very cool. It's all very kung fu. The story is brilliant. The writing is brilliant. There's enough in there. I think that if you were a fan of the traditional Hong Kong action movie kind of stuff, you'd find enough to take home and enjoy, and that'd be great. But you are not going to be looking at it for the action sequences, and that's a damn shame for the same reason, unfortunately. And without a drastic change in how they're going to present the art in this and how they're going to lay out their pages, I can't see much changing, unfortunately. So, good, but not great. Anyway, that's it for me. I'll try and find something to review tomorrow. So until then, bye!